Okay, I have not had one of these WD45 power steering torque motors apart before, and I was not able to find a video on YouTube about taking these apart, so I'm just kind of feeling my way around. But it looks to me like this goes over that shaft there, and this little bolt and roller comes through here, and as you turn back and forth, the roller rides in this little oblong slot, and it pushes this back and forth, and this is the control valve on this little lever protruding through there. Goes in the slot, and that's what operates the torque motor. That's the valve. This kind of acts like it's stuck. Right here are the seals that were leaking. I need to take that out, change the seals. Between that and the body of the torque motor, there are some O-rings. Then this gasket, which I'm not sure is available. I might be able to make one anyway, but then we need a bunch of O-rings, which I have an O-ring. I have an O-ring variety pack, so it's kind of gunky and messy. So one thing I need to do is continue taking it apart, take all the pieces down to the parts washer and clean everything up, and kind of keep going on this thing. All right, I've got the torque motor apart. I've got this front plate off, got the rotors out. I don't need to take this back plate off, because once I got the shaft out, I could get the O-ring out there that I needed to change. Overall, it looks like it's in pretty decent shape. It just needs a good cleaning and to have the 64-year-old O-rings replaced with new ones. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I got to clean all this stuff up, and I'll clean this up and put this back together before I start looking into the valve. I don't want to take everything apart here at once, but so cleaning right now is the order of business. Okay, I've got all the torque generator parts cleaned up. I'm glad that it's 40 degrees, because my parts washer is back in the back part of the barn that's not heated. So I got this all cleaned up. The one thing that concerns me here, the spring that goes over the shaft has little cups on each end, and one of the cups is worn. So I don't know. I don't know if it's enough to bother anything, or I have no idea if it's available anymore or not. So don't know. Not sure what I'll do with that. But I left this down here in the barn because it's easier than carting it back to the shop. So I think maybe I'll go back up there and take the valve apart. I got the valve components all cleaned up. The one thing I found that concerns me, this one end cap, it has a hole rusted in it there, and the hole inside is all rusty. It looks like it was letting water in to the one side of the valve there, which probably accounts for a lot of the crap. So I don't know. It looks to me like there's enough clearance that I could fabricate a flat piece to cover the end with. I'll have to see when I put it back together. But anyway, it's getting later in the afternoon now, and my back is telling me I need to go in and sit down for a while, and my life is better when I listen to it. Okay, it's 2 days later, and I suppose I'd better put the torque generator back together while I still remember how everything goes. This is the main body of the case. And this is the front cover. I did not separate the front cover from the case because I didn't need to. The rear cover, the two rotors. This rotor is on the main shaft, and this goes over the back part of the shaft. And the back end, I need to put my new seals in here. The bolts, thrust washers, clips, spring, various assorted parts here. Okay. Now there's an O-ring on each side of the main shaft in the rear cover the rear cover and the front cover, and I've replaced both of those O-rings. So put a little bit of oil on these needle bearings. Help things go together a little better maybe. Put the bottom rotor in place. Get the front shaft all oiled up here. Put this on the edge of my bench so the front will come through, and see about putting the top rotor in here. There we go. Now we'll get the back cover on. There are a couple of dowels here this has to go over. Like I said, I've replaced the two O-rings. Started on the dowels. Okay, it looks like maybe we're close enough now that I can draw it together with the bolts. There, we're pretty much together with the main body now. Still turns, so that's good. Now that we've got the case together, it's time to install what they refer to as the centering spring. Now, I've got one snap ring already in place. I don't want to bore you with video of me fighting with snap rings, but this has to come past this, and there's another groove it has to come over. Then there's a big snap ring you need to put in here right now. You'll need that later. And the two thrust washers. This one is kind of worn. I'd replace it if I could lay my hands on another one, but I can't, so it's going back in. So we'll put that there. Then the spring goes over here. Then the other thrust washer. And we compress this, and it's held in place by the other snap ring. Okay, I've got the centering spring on. First you slide the first snap ring on. Then compressing this and putting the second snap ring on is a little bit of a bugger, but it helps to get the ends of the snap rings and run them down this space right here. So now we need to put this on, and this big snap ring that we put in here snaps into place right there. So now is when that comes into play. Put this over here, then get our snap ring back here snapped into place. All right. Getting that inside snap ring that snaps on the inside of this is a little bit of a bugger, but I got it on. And now this this outside piece is secure on both sides up against the centering spring. So now we put our little roller in place here. Okay, I've got the little bolt with the roller on the head secured in the oblong opening here. There's a 9/16 nut that takes the 9/16 socket on this end. So now it's time to put the tail housing on. I've replaced the seals on this. There was one big wide seal in there, and the replacement that you get are two narrow seals. Now there was a thin gasket on here, but I'm just going to put a little bit of RTV silicone on it, because the only places that oil passes through here under pressure is sealed with two O-rings that I'm going to replace. Otherwise, it's all the gasket has to do is kind of keep the gunk out. So I'm going to put two new O-rings in here, a little silicone around the outside, and put the rear housing on to the torque pin. Okay, I put two new O-rings in here, put a little bit of RTV silicone around the outside. I put oil on this shaft here. So we'll put this rear housing back on. Hopefully the O-rings will stay in place. Got a couple of dowels here for it to slip over. Now we can start putting the valve together. Put a little oil on the new O-rings that I've installed here. Hopefully this will make things go together a little easier. All right. Okay, I got the valve back together. It's pretty straightforward. Put new O-rings on the plunger, put the plunger in the housing. I don't know. I'm not crazy about the way it feels. It feels kind of stiff. So if this doesn't work, the valve is the first place I'm going to look for trouble. And there's no gasket on this. There's some O-rings here to seal it where the fluid is under pressure. I put new O-rings on there. So I'll put the valve back on the housing here. Okay, I've got the valve back on. It takes these 4 Allen head bolts. So we're all together. I guess now it's time to take this and the bracket for the power steering pump and maybe a few other things over to the basement and put some fresh paint on them. I don't know, this valve feels kind of stiff to me. I don't know, maybe that's the way it's supposed to feel. We'll see if it works.